Hi guys, everybody's had challenges during the lockdown period. One of the biggest challenges my family's had to deal with is that on the day that lockdown happened, we'd just had our kitchen ripped out, ready to fit a new one. So for the last 12 weeks, we've had no oven and no hob. So we've been having to look for new methods of cooking meals. We've been doing lots of slow cooker and lots of steamed meals. So I just wanted to share one of those meals with you during this video. So we're going to start with our 750 gram gammon joint just placed in the middle of the slow cooker. So what we're going to cook is a campfire stew. It's going to take lots of different veggies, starting out with some carrot. Best way to cook the carrot is to use the method where you hold your fingers back, so you're not actually going to cut your fingers, but you're using your knuckles to guide the knife. And there we go, we're going in super fast to get those carrots cut. We're also going to need 2 onions. I'm using a red onion because red onions just have a slightly sweeter taste, and I really like that extra sweetness added to the meal. So I'm going to use the bridge method where I put my hands over the top of the onion and slide the knife between it. It's the safest way of cutting the onion in half. And now using the claw method to hold the onion down to the chopping board, folding my fingernails back so I'm not catching the knife on my fingers, but also guiding the knife down my knuckles so I'm getting a nice straight cut. And as soon as those veggies are cut, they go straight into the slow cooker just on top of the meat. So next we're on to 2 cloves of garlic. You need to top and tail the garlic and then peel the skin off the garlic so you've got the clean white layer on the inside. Now I find the best way to release the flavour from the garlic is to crush and chop the garlic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crush them with the flat edge of the knife, or you can use a garlic crusher. Then use the claw method to hold it down and really finely chop that garlic up. That's the best way to get the flavours out of the garlic. Once it's all chopped up, add it into the slow cooker. Next, onto 1 stick of celery. Now, it might not be something that you'd normally eat, but when you put it into the slow cooker, as it cooks, the celery is still going to retain a bit of a crunch, but it's not going to get the bitterness taste that it has when it's raw. So it's going to add a nice extra texture to your meal. Next, you're going to need 6 to 8 button mushrooms. Now, mushrooms, when they're cooked, have a kind of earthy taste, and being button mushrooms, they're very subtle in that flavour. So they're going to give a bit of a subtle, earthy flavour to your meal. Button mushrooms contain lots of vitamin B, so that's really good for a healthy immune system. So we're going to be adding 2 peppers to this meal. Peppers are brilliant because they've got lots of vitamin A and vitamin C. Vitamin A is great for the immune system and also good for normal vision. And vitamin C is really good for repairing muscles and repairing cells. I'm using a red pepper and a yellow pepper. Both these colours tend to have a sweeter taste, whereas if you use green pepper, you'll get a bit more of a grassy taste to it. Now I'm removing the pith, which is the white fleshy bit inside the pepper, and the seeds. Now, the reason I'm doing this is more about appearance of the final meal, because the seeds can float up to the surface, and also about the texture, because you don't want to be getting pepper seeds stuck in your teeth while you're eating your meal. Obviously don't go trying to cut your vegetables up at the same speed I'm doing in this video. I have sped quite a bit of it up, and the last thing I want you to do is to rush through preparing your meal and hurting yourself. All in all, it took about 10 to 15 minutes for me to cut and prepare all these vegetables. So the next thing that's going in now is some smoked paprika. It's going to give a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of spiciness. Because I'm using smoked, it's going to give it a bit more of a campfire smoky flavour. The second spice going in is cumin, which is an Indian curry spice. Finally, it's a pinch of crushed chili peppers. Now, be careful to make sure it's just a pinch, otherwise you're going to make your dish far too hot to be able to eat. We're going to need to add some Worcester sauce, and we're also going to need to add some hot sauce. Worcester sauce, we're going to use 1 tablespoon, and that's made out of salt, vinegar and anchovies, so it's going to add some saltiness to your meal. The hot sauce is made out of chilies, and you only want a couple of dashes, and that's going to give the spice. We've got to add some baked beans in there, which is going to provide the sauce for the meat to cook in, and also add the beans for some protein. We're adding some chopped tomatoes in there to give that rich tomato flavour and add some more sauce for it to cook in. And finally, we're going to add some dried kidney beans. But remember, drain out all of the juice from the kidney beans and then also rinse the kidney beans before you add them to the meal. And that's it. That's all of your ingredients in your slow cooker. The next thing you need to do is to start trying to combine them, but remember you've got the joint of meat in the middle, so just starting to stir it around and getting some of those ingredients mixed up together. As it cooks, they're going to mix more anyway. Once you've got it all mixed up, put the lid on, set your slow cooker on high and leave it for 6 hours. Maybe coming back after about 3 hours just to give it a bit of a stir. Okay, so 6 hours later, my slow cooked meal is all looking like it's nicely cooking, it's all bubbling up. I'm going to serve it with some steamed mashed potatoes because I haven't got a hob to cook them on. So half an hour before my meal's ready, I've put some potatoes in the steamer and I'll leave them to steam and I'll come back in a little bit and mash them. So on half an hour now, we're almost ready to serve it all up. So what I've got to do is I've got to find the joint of meat in the middle, and I'm just going to use 2 forks just to start pulling it apart and tearing it apart. After 6 hours cooking, it's going to break into small bits really easily. And the final stage, serve it up. So we have steamed mashed potatoes served with campfire stew. So there you go guys, creamy mashed potato and campfire stew, cooked without an oven and without a hob. Imagine what you could do if you had to live without those essential pieces of equipment and the tasty sort of meals that you could create.